The 1960s saw waves being made for Black Americans, not only politically but in Hollywood, with Sidney Poitier becoming the first Black man to win Best Lead Actor at the Oscars for his performance as Homer Smith in Lilies of the Field. Later that decade, Gordon Parks became the first Black person to direct for a major studio, with his semi-autobiographical film The Learning Tree. Parks would later go on to direct Shaft in 1971, which is a part of a tide of Black-led films called Blaxploitation, which, despite their faults, brought many Black actors into prominence such as Richard Roundtree and Pam Grier, and saw more Black people step into the directing chair such as Melvin Van Peebles, Ossie Davis, and Michael Schultz. Though by the mid-1970s the sun began to set on Blaxploitation, leading Black-directed movies to practically vanish from mainstream American cinema, up until Spike Lee's debut with She's Gotta Have It in 1986. But just because these Black filmmakers weren't being recognized doesn't mean they weren't making complex and compelling works, as many amazing indie films were being produced, but sadly were lost or underseen up until recently. One of these was Losing Ground by poet, writer, civil rights activist, educator, and filmmaker Kathleen Collins in 1982, which offers a beautiful portrayal of Black middle-class life that was unfortunately not given a theatrical release, but it was restored by the filmmaker's daughter Nina Collins in 2015. What makes the film so special is how it punches above its weight. Despite having only a $125,000 budget, every frame feels like a painting, from small houses to everyday street blocks. Sarah Scott, Bill Gunn, and Dwayne Jones, who you may remember from Night of the Living Dead, give moving performances, with all of them bringing out the best in each other when they're on screen. Collins' characters were an anomaly for their time, as they were neither superheroes nor super victims, but human subjects who fell into the same trappings as anyone. Being one of the first features directed by a Black woman, she left her mark on cinematic history before sadly passing away in 1988 at age 46. Another one was Cane River by Horace B. Jenkins, a production funded by wealthy Black patrons with an all-Black cast and crew. It wasn't given a theatrical release owing to the sudden death of Jenkins shortly after its completion in 1982. In 2013, a negative of the film was rediscovered, and a restored version was released in 2018. The story is mainly set in rural Louisiana, where a forbidden love between an affluent light-skinned Creole man and a poor dark-skinned woman starts to metastasize. Over the course of the narrative, old wounds are opened, and they must battle through colorism, classism, and religious differences, with all of our characters being laid bare as they fight for land, autonomy, security, and fulfillment. Jenkins truly understood the power of pure image and sound, with the film at points feeling like a music video, foregoing a classical film score to let our leads adventure and bond together behind R&B and reggae music, breathing life into both the countryside and city, all culminating in a Southern-style Romeo and Juliet. Next was Charles Burnett's My Brother's Wedding, which as a result of producer mishandling, was screened in an unfinished form in 1983 to mixed reception. In 2007, Burnett was able to re-edit and re-release the film, which follows Pierce, a 30-year-old unmarried man with no ambition, who spends most of his days working at his parents' dry cleaner and interacting with all the denizens of South Central LA, religious elders trying to guide the youth, working-class men and women, children who are everywhere but school, as well as street gangs and their victims. At the center of the story is his attempt to balance the various relationships around him, one with his brother, a lawyer, who is off to marry a snobbish upper-class woman, and his best friend Soldier, who was just released from jail. These forces stretch him in every which way, forcing him to choose between the two. There is so much tenderness and humor in the film. At the hands of a different director, this could have easily been made into poverty porn, but Burnett, being from these same streets, handles each character with love and care, and in so produced a slice-of-life film that not only is entertaining, but makes us ask where our own allegiances lie in our own lives. Last but certainly not least is Billy Woodbury's Bless Their Little Hearts, which was written and shot by the aforementioned Charles Burnett. Few saw it on release, owing to it only having a week-long run in New York and Los Angeles. In it, we are given an intimate look at the lives of not just the Banks family, but of many black families in the post-industrial age, where unemployment is rampant and one must scrape by the hair of their chin to survive. On these fringes of Los Angeles, neorealism takes hold. Woodbury lets the camera linger in deep focus to absorb every inch of the community, a fish market, desolate buildings and fields, where once stood factories that could hire the husband and father Charlie, as well as back roads of the disenfranchised. We often focus on the little things, one's shaving routine, riding the bus home, and the odd jobs such as weed whacking and painting houses. Under these economic pressures, we get a portrait of the trials and tribulation both black men and women faced during the time, which boil over and create one of the best scenes of the 80s, where Charlie and his wife Anadias lay their hearts out to each other in a single take that nearly left me in tears. With Bless Their Little Hearts, Woodbury and Burnett crafted one of the most accurate depictions of black life during the de-industrial period that has stood the test of time. I hope you all enjoyed this video. You can go see Losing Ground, My Brother's Wedding, and Bless Their Little Hearts on the Criterion channel, whereas Cane River can be seen on YouTube for free. Thank you all for watching. Peace out.